Welcome to a new edition of Harness Central. I'm Harold Howe with Jack Darling at Classy Lane Training Center. We're going to talk 2-year-olds, but just before we go that path, Jack, you had a nasty spill here in April, right after I did your video of 2-year-olds in training, and I guess, how have you mended?
Yeah, I've done really well. It was really rough for a couple of weeks, but yeah, the arm's fine, and I had a pretty bad concussion. I'm over those problems, so yeah, looking good now.
You can have a bit of appreciation then for what some athletes go through.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, we're here to talk about Heavy Metal Hanover. This is Friday, and tomorrow you're going to the first Ontario Sire Stake of the year for the 2-year-old pacing colts in the wake of the 2-year-old pacing fillies gone earlier this week. And you, I think, like everybody, was pretty taken back with what you saw there.
Yeah, that was phenomenal, a 51-mile. But these pacing colts, they're liable to do pretty well the same thing.
All right. This fellow of yours, we talked about in April when we did the video of 2-year-olds, and you were encouraged by him. He's an up the credit, first crop foal out of Decor's family, who you had. And as people can see on video, I mean, he's a very handsome looking guy, but good looks will only take you so far. What do you like about him?
Well, he's just been kind of a natural from day one. Got the ability, great attitude, got some class to him. So he just has all the right ingredients to be a good one, but he's got to go out and prove it.
I suppose we should have known he was going to be a good one, because he only cost $25,000, and it seems like all the successful horses here in Ontario this year are 25 or less. I know what took you to see him as a yearling at Harrisburg was out of the Decor family, but I guess he exceeded your expectations when you actually saw him.
Yeah, he did. I was really surprised when I went to look at him. He was as nice a yearling as I'd seen at any of the sales. So yeah, he was one that I was going to buy him.
No matter what. Yeah. Now, he's going into the Saturday night's race off 3 starts. He's won them all, and which is encouraging. But you were saying last night you watched the grassroots, and it left you shaking your head as to how fast some of these horses were performing, and went home empty-handed. Yeah,
the speed is unbelievable. Like last night, I mean, 2-year-old pacing fillies, I think there was 12 of them came the last quarters and 26 and change. And I think if you compare to other years, there's never been anything like it. So the pacing colts and the grassroots are likely to do the same thing, and in the gold on Saturday, who knows how fast they're going to go.
Is it just an aberration, you think, this year, or is the breed, with so many this year showing ability, is the breed took a step forward?
The Ontario breeding this year was really strong. I noticed at the yearling sales, the pedigrees were stronger. Even the Ontario, the ones bred in Ontario, with all the trouble we've had with the government, they've weeded out a lot of the weaker mares, and there's just the stronger ones are left over, and people have been upgrading some. And the Americans, they kind of, when things were a little softer, the American farms kind of jumped in and bred a lot of good mares. So it might be a little bit of an aberration, but they are much better bred this year.
So if you're right, that's going to show that kind of quality through the year, what, if any, effect does that have on how you'll approach the yearling sales this fall?
Next year there's not going to be as many Ontario sired. They're going to be expensive. You just got to keep trying to buy the best you can buy for the best price, and hope for the best.
You're unique in that it's all your own money. You don't have any owners and so forth. I mean, if you're correct, it's tough to deeper than you already do. I mean, this colt was $25,000, but you've been known to spend more. And if it gets more competitive, I mean, how do you play it?
I don't know.
Are you going to trim back a little?
I'm going to trim. I bought some expensive yearlings that haven't really panned out. I'm going to get burnt on them pretty good. But so you just got to be a little bit careful, and like I say, just keep digging, and you need that one good one to pay for the ones that you're losing on. That's just the way the game works.
Well, maybe Saturday night Heavy Metal will help the cause. But thanks for your thoughts, and good luck with the race.
Okay, thanks, Harold.
Okay, we're still at Classy Lane Training Center, and now we're with Scott McEnany, who has a pretty nice 2-year-old in Arsenic in Saturday night's Ontario Sire Stake Gold. We were lucky enough to video him through the winter. I distinctly remember the cold day. And he's turned out nicely for you. He's got a 54-4 record, I guess it was. I guess, how do you feel about him now, 3 months since we spoke about him?
I feel a lot better. He was just doing everything right back then. He never showed anything spectacular, but he acted like he was going to race. And just the last month and a half, being in a race bike, getting behind the starting car with more horses, he's just, come into himself. So he's really been a nice surprise.
This is no gimme tomorrow night.
No, not at all. There's a lot of nice colts in all the divisions, and it's going to be tough. But he'll show up.
That Ontario Sire Stake the other night for the 2-year-old pacing fillies at Mohawk really red flagged the racing season for a lot of guys. And Jack Darling was talking earlier about the grassroots last night for the fillies and just how fast so many of them went and didn't get money. And he says, I think it's going to be a stellar year, maybe one of the toughest ever in terms of depth. Do you think that from where you look today?
Definitely. With the fillies and the pacing colts and even the trotters, I mean, it's just scary the speeds are going right now, and there's just a lot of them that made the races.
Your fellow, is he going to wear well through the course of a season?
I think so. He's pretty easy on himself. He's not too big, but neither was his dad. And
Better's delight.
Yeah, and hopefully he doesn't get too many bad trips or anything like that, and gets a little bit of a break.
It does look like, on paper, it's going to be kind of a ding-dong year, unless somebody Saturday night separates himself from the crowd. But I don't know, looking on paper, if there is one.
I don't think there is. I mean, every division has 2 or 3 or 4 colts in there that could step up and win. So, it's not going to be easy at all.
Good luck Saturday night with Arsenic.
Thank you.
Harold Howe with Scott McEnany giving you the harness racing.